Joining us now live is Ambassador Gina Abercrombie-Winstanley, former Arabian Peninsula Director on the White House National Security Council in the Clinton administration and the former U.S. Ambassador to Malta in the Obama administration. She's now a distinguished fellow with the Atlantic Council. Great to have you back on the BBC. The U.S. saying that there are ongoing and productive discussions regarding a second round of peace talks with Iran. Of course, the current ceasefire does expire next week. How much urgency are you sensing from the U.S. right now?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, Carl. Well, there is indeed urgency on both sides. That is where we are now. The ceasefire is out there. We know that President Trump has been repeatedly willing to extend ceasefires for conflicts that he has been pushing. So we know that it can be extended if there is enough progress between these back channel efforts by mediators to get it in place. The pressure for President Trump, of course, is that the American people are not interested in returning to a hot war. They weren't interested in the first place, as we saw from the polling. Many of the polls are showing Americans feeling that the goals haven't been met, the war is not going well, and continued to say no ground troops. The president's remarks about destroying civilian infrastructure, destroying the Iranian civilization went over very poorly indeed. He continues to talk that way from time to time, but it would be extraordinary if there was any substance to those sorts of remarks. From the Iranian side, as we heard from Lise Doucette, there have been significant strikes, and the Iranian leadership has got to get started with repairing and rebuilding the country. So the Strait of Hormuz is the sticking point. Both sides, the blockade is largely working, perhaps 100% today. We're not sure yet, but it is having an impact on reducing the amount of money the Iranians can make. They made over $100 million a day while they were able to freely move ships.
All that focus really on the Strait of Hormuz, Ambassador, but we heard there Iran threatening to halt shipping elsewhere in the region, including the Red Sea. What kind of impact could that have, do you think? And does Iran have the capability at this point to pull that off at the same time?
I believe they do, insofar as they just have to make sure that others believe that they can, they have, or they will. And that is mining. They still have small, fast boats. I know the president has spoken about using the same techniques that he has used to go after boats coming out of Latin America. But only one has to get through and say that there's a mine out there that's going to keep traffic from moving through. So the strait can still be held by Iran, as well as being held by the United States as it is now. With regard to the Red Sea, that depends a bit more on the Houthis. They have shown some support for the Iranians. They have said that if the ceasefire doesn't hold, that they would step up and start interdicting transit traffic in the Red Sea. So it's a real possibility. We know that they had an impact in the past. It would widen the front for U.S. troops. We know there is another 10,000 being sent, but that is about 60,000 personnel for this war. And keep in mind that at the beginning of the Iraq war, there were 248,000 American troops, supported by another 40,000+ foreign troops. So there's a real difference in the physical commitment of the United States in this conflict.
The Ambassador Gina Abercrombie-Winstanley, always great to get your thoughts. We appreciate it. Thank you.
My pleasure.